You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas. It's the Christmas special. It's the Christmas special on the Cricket Podcast, which means only one thing. It's the big cricket quiz of the year, the third annual big cricket quiz of the year. I am Jack Hope. I will be quiz master, and today I am joined by two contestants, Ross Legg. How are you doing, Ross Legg? And what's your team name?
Oh, Tina, I'm the Snowmen this year.
Snowmen?
Because I've got a mascot. Every good team needs a mascot. There we are. So he's going to be in here helping me.
Yeah.
That's worked well, isn't it?
Very good. And Maximus Rowe Brown. How are you doing, Max? And what is your team name?
Hello, Jack. I'm very well. And the reason I'm very well is because when it comes to this time of year and we do this Christmas quiz, it reminds me of when we always used to try and get game shows into the podcast, and you were very much against them. But this is our time. This is our time of the year where we get to do a game show on the podcast. And my team's name is Daddy Roots Jingle Bells.
Daddy Roots Jingle Bell. Well, that's 1 point to Max for the name. Ross, I like the idea of the mascot. I think we need more mascots in cricket. But Daddy Roots Jingle Bells is great. Plus, if we're talking about mascots or things that are visually viewable, Max's reindeer glasses, Rudolph glasses, are a treat. So if you're listening on audio, head over to YouTube to see what Max looks like. Do we have any messages that we would like to get through very quickly for listeners?
Well, we are covering all the Ashes, aren't we? So people should like this video, subscribe to our channel so they can catch our daily shows on that. And we will be coming back with an IPL session as well, because I think Christmas Day is the deadline for the new Lucknow and Ahmedabad, who are getting to pick their players out of the the casts off from the other end. So we'll be covering that as well. So
and maybe not cast offs. Some interesting rumours swirling.
Yeah, mate, Manish Pandey, RCB captain. That is one hell of a rumour. And we also are on Twitter and Instagram, which you can find us at the Cricket Pod. And we're also revamping our Patreon. So if you like what you hear and you want to contribute to the show and have more stuff to do with the show, then go on to Patreon/the Cricket Pod.
Yep, that's right. Why don't you could buy Patreon for a friend for Christmas? What a gift! If you're last minute gift hunting. What a gift that would be. Right, this is how the quiz will work. Ross's team Snowman, Snowmen. Max's team Daddy Roots Jingle Bells will go head to head, alternating questions with some group questions. Most points at the end wins. I'm the quiz master. I'm going to make it up as I go along. Not the questions, they're written down, but the allocation of points. And I'm sure it will be a thriller, as it has been in the 2 previous years.
I cleared the floor with you last time, Max, I think.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Jack managed to manufacture it back into a tight race, but I was not on form last year. So I think there was up for that.
There was a 5-point tiebreaker question for Max to take a surprise lead. The first question is the battle of the summaries. We start a lot of our daily shows with summaries. We have a summary champion here, Max Rowe Brown. As the challenger, Ross, you can go first. And your summary challenge for a point is to summarise the year of cricket in about a minute. Best. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. I'm always hoping for 2 minutes. I've actually written 537 words. So I'm going to be speaking pretty quickly here.
Okay,
let me see how many words I've written, Ross, and see if we can extend the time between us.
We're using up a lot of your time here, Ross.
That's brutal. That's brutal from the quizmaster.
Anyway, look.
Okay.
Look,
right,
the time is exactly 10 minutes to 6.
Yeah.
You may begin.
The Kiwis secured their home series win against Pakistan as they edged closer to the World Test Championship final. A decimated India played the best cricket of their lives as they overcame a complacent Australia with Tim Paine's year of embarrassment, starting off in style with the "can't wait to get you to the Gabber, Ash," before losing. Sri Lanka's Lemon Land tormented England's batters, but unfortunately for Mickey Arthur's shorts, Joe Root decided that his New Year's resolution was to hit the most test runs in a calendar year. Bangladesh then began their juicing tactic as they spun their way past the West Indies, whilst Pakistan bounced back in home conditions against South Africa, whilst England headed off to India, which saw cricket return to free-to-air television in the UK for the first time in about 15, 20 years. A double century from Joe Root alongside a séance from Dom Sibley saw India beaten in the first test, and this the BCCI took personally, with groundsmen fired and new competitive pitches introduced. Aksar and Ashwin spun a web, whilst Rohit showed he loved building sandcastles as a kid as India roared back to win 3-1. The IPL was then running smoothly, but then the organisers decided that to test the biobubble's transferability across the country in the midst of a COVID wave. Shock, the test failed and the IPL was suspended. T20 preparation was in full flow, with the minnows battling it out for a place at the dinner table. England were then comprehensively outplayed by New Zealand on their home territory, Devon Conway becoming the sexy new South African-born superstar on the block. They went on to beat India in the World Chess Championship final, which should have been played over more than one test, but that's the ICC for you. Women's cricket finally got the shot in the arm it deserved as the 100 kicked off in style, with Alex Capsey seizing her moment and India's Jemima Rodrigues showing off to the record crowds. The Oval Invincibles crushed the Southern Brave in the women's final, and the men's side of the competition unfortunately flattered to deceive. The most explosive batting team, Birmingham Phoenix, and the best bowling team, Southern Brave, faced off in the final, with James Vince's men being crowned kings. India sent two teams, one to Sri Lanka, one to England. One saw Bhuvi batting at 6, while the other smashed England to bits in their own turf. England was saved in the first test by rain. They then collapsed in the second. We fought back and won by an innings, but then Rohit Sharma decided to be really good at cricket again. And then Ravi Shastri went off for a book signing. Final test match called off and delayed until 2025. The IPL resumes days later. No one is ever the wider, and the Golden Oldies CSK race to the title. The World Cup then starts. Australia somehow qualify. Pakistan blitz India, and everyone is thinking Pakistan are going to win this. Hassan Ali's fingers are unfortunately covered in butter. He drops the World Cup, and Australia run to victory with Mitch Marsh, hero. Mitch Marsh is then not selected for the Ashes, but they're 2-0 up already, and long may England misery continue.
Okay, that's not too bad, Mac. Ross. It was a bit long. So I'm gonna
Disqualified.
I'll note down your score here, and we will get back to that. Max, same question for you.
Yeah.
Don't bore us though. We don't want to cover all of the same points.
Okay.
So we should just say to everyone who's listening, is not every question is like this. Not every question is
It's going to be a long old quiz, isn't it?
Yeah.
Question 2. Describe what happened in 2020. You have 10 minutes.
Go on, Max.
Right. Okay. You know what? There's one theme everyone loves, isn't there, when it comes to summary? So here we go. The great cruise ship, the SS Cricket, it set sail this year on a round the world trip, hosting the world's finest players and some others. The English holiday started the year in everyone's bad books because, at the end of last year, they slinked away from the guided tour of South Africa just before the end, and people weren't very impressed. But the first pit stop this year was for Australia, where after the guests had played a few icebreakers, the party got a bit out of hand, and the Indian guests particularly got out of hand, and Rishabh Pant decided he was going to tip all the Australian passengers overboard, which was a rather exciting sight for everyone watching on. Stop 2 on the cruise was Sri Lanka, where it became clear that the English alpha male Daddy Root was a man to be revered, and his dance moves particularly had everyone in thrall throughout the rest of the trip. Next stop was India, and Daddy Root continued his macho displays, but at this point the tour guides took offence and all immediately quit, which left the remaining few weeks of the Indian excursion to turn out to be a very hard slog through some unwelcoming terrain for those less familiar with the local landscape. While the cricketing tourists enjoyed all these vacations, they were very aware at the time of how well they dodged the pandemic that was raging outside of the ship's confines. Unfortunately, the extended stay in India and the large amount of international mixing meant that they wouldn't end up so lucky, and the Indian leg of the trip was abruptly aborted. But the knackered English were very happy to hear the captain announce that the next few months of the cruise would be taking place on British shores. The bad news for them was that they had to split off into one-on-one groups, and their first counterparts were the ruthless Kiwis, who comfortably drank the English under the table on their 2 nights out. After a few different pairings, things were getting a bit stale, obviously. So the cruise organisers decided this was the time where we should try something new, something experimental and something exciting. So they played all the same games we've been playing before. They were just 17% shorter. Everyone kind of enjoyed it, and it was sort of okay. But that was the taster for the main event. The Indian tourists finally got their chance to turn back on English shores, and they had a whale of a time. Despite an early misstep, they got particularly enjoyed getting revenge on England for their behaviour last year, as they also slunk off the remaining tour and ended up commandeering the ship and heading straight back to the UAE, leaving most of the English people behind, although some of them just about managed to squeeze on the ship. Over in the UAE, the guests were treated to a masterclass of all aspects of life by the local elderly statesmen, and those at the back who'd whispered that they were too old to do their jobs were certainly put in their place. At this point, the remaining Englishmen managed to turn up via the plane and catch up with their shipmates for the big event of the year, as the cruise liner described it, a free lock-in where all the guests from all countries piled in. Unfortunately, the Irish forgot to bring their tickets and were turned away at the door, but they hung around just about long enough to see over the bouncers' shoulders some of the newcomers who had ingratiated themselves. Mark Watt, in particular, made a lot of new friends with an excellent rendition of Frank Sinatra's My Way from Atop a Table. And he will be friends with many cricketers throughout the remainder of the cruise, no doubt. There were actually prizes at the end of this party for the best fancy dress, and no one was happy with the winners. But, these things happen. After that, there was a brief party hosted by the Indians, but no one really turned up, and it was kind of pointless. So winding down for the rest of the year, the ship meandered its way back to where everyone got on, and that was the wonderful port of Brisbane, where all the guests lined up on the deck to watch the English disembark. Unfortunately for them, they were immediately set upon by the locals, who took great pleasure in kicking the shit out of them, leaving them to enjoy Christmas dinner through a straw.
That was very good, Max. I do see here a slight problem in the formatting of the original question, in that the question effectively asked you both to say the same thing one after another. Next year, we'll have to write this down. You get to
summarize
6 months
different
each.
stuff. Yeah, right.
6 months each.
Yeah.
But you live and learn, don't you?
Yeah.
That's. I'm not going to do a Silverwood. And sit here and say I'd have done it the same, because I wouldn't.
Max, you didn't even mention that Pakistan beat Zimbabwe.
Well,
we can't cover everything.
How could one forget? I will give you a point each. And hold my hands up. Really, I think that's a point lost for you, Max. But I mean, it was nautical, but I'd sort of heard it all before. Anyway, let's get on to the actual quiz. We're going to alternate a little bit from now on. Who would like to be red?
I'll go red.
Okay, good. That's a good call, because due to a mathematical error, you get an extra question.
Everything's coming up, Ross.
He's 2-1 up early. He's 2-1 down early, but he does have an extra question. So we're going to alternate the questions from now on, and we're going right back to the beginning of the year. This is mainly chronological. We're talking Rohit Sharma and India. He linked up with the Indian side on their tour of Australia, the famous tour of Australia, where they would win. The India A would win against Australia AAA. He linked up with them after a post-IPL break. What, though, Ross, did he do wrong before making his first appearance of the series?
Didn't he go out for dinner with someone that you shouldn't have gone out for dinner with?
Bang! He's back in it. It's 2-2. That's correct. He went to a Chinese restaurant. I think on his first day out of quarantine. Not the smartest call of all time. Back then, I don't know if you remember this, but everyone was saying that maybe Rohit Sharma doesn't want to play Test cricket. He'd taken that break with a bad hamstring, I think it was, after the IPL. He'd gone out to a Chinese restaurant. All the signs were there. Fast forward 11 months later, second most runs behind Daddy Root. India white ball captain. You have to say it's been a pretty good year for Rohit Sharma, don't you?
Yeah, it's almost been the year of Rohit, hasn't it? That's a bit like I think he pretty much single-handedly won India 3 Test matches against England. So
Yeah,
well done,
What a
Rohit.
player.
Yeah. I will say as well, if you remember a good story or you've got a good anecdote or you want to drop something in, there are bonus points available at my discretion. That will largely depend on whether you're winning or losing. Don't expect to build a good lead, but
noted.
Yeah. but if you have got a good story or you remember something that I've missed, do bring it up. After a great century by Jinky Rahane, do you remember him? Well, not do you remember him? He's still in the side, isn't he? The last runs he scored. In the third test in Sydney, Rohit Sharma's debut in the series, the game was stopped for a minute or so, Max, whilst Ashwin and Tim Payne had little to and fro. Can you remember what was Ashwin's reply to Tim Payne saying, "Can't wait to get you to the Gabba, Ash"?
Right. So it was "Can't wait to get you to the Gabba, Ash."
Mm-hmm.
And then
that was what Tim Payne said.
Yeah. And then I think am I forgetting the bit in the middle? Because I think it was Tim Payne that said, in response to the response, "At least my teammates like me," wasn't it?
Well, you remember
the that bit.
Yeah. Not getting a bonus point for that.
But the bit in the middle, right? What did Ashwin say back?
I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think of this, or you're going to have to wing it.
He said, "At least I've hit a test century, you fucking prick."
he did not say that. Ross,
are we doing a steal situation?
Yeah, of course we're doing a steal.
I wonder if it was something along the lines of "I can't wait to get you to India because it'll be your last series as skipper."
Your last.
That will do. Like we want to get you back to India, that'll be your last series.
Yeah.
Well, we all know what happened at the Gabba, don't we? Were you shocked by that result, Max?
Absolutely. What a result! Oh, what a result! That was one of the more enjoyable test matches to have covered and done a show on that one.
Yeah.
And a good jingle along with it.
Yeah, a third 11 for India beating Australia, whilst our first 11 were getting smashed.
They did have batters though, didn't they? It was like a third 11 bowling side, but they did have batters. We've got some pretty bad bowlers out there as well. I mean, like we should pat ourselves on the back for taking an awful bowling side.
To the last day, didn't we? What a performance! What a performance!
Back in February, Ross, England went to Sri Lanka to play cricket. Do you remember that? Yeah. Do you remember? Remember this is a podcast, so using your voice.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Sorry, I had a piggy blanket on my
phone. Do you remember the key bowler in the series for the Sri Lankans?
Lasith Embledenia.
Yeah. Do you remember what Embledenia means?
Lemonland.
Lemonland. That isn't the question, but that's good knowledge. Besides Lemonland, can you name a single other Sri Lankan who took a wicket in that series?
De Silva.
No.
Oh, that was pretty confident there. Literally before you even said it, I was just like, I thought Dan and Jai De Silva would take one. Okay, no, Max.
Maxie. I think he was injured after the tour of South Africa. But good guess, Max. Over to you. Can you steal back?
Okay.
Our Sri Lanka fans aren't very happy with us right now.
Mendes. Oh, now I've got a judgment call to make. Because Mendes did take a wicket, but I don't think you know which Mendes.
The one that's not a Janta.
Okay, that'll do. You've narrowed it down. Ravish Mendes did pick up 2 wickets in the series. So, Max, you've stolen the point from Ross. It's a double seal. It's a steal. The steal's going on left, right, and centre. It's a Christmas quiz. It's a thriller. It's 3-all. It's 3-all. And we go back to blue team. Daddy Roots, Jingle Bells, Max, Rowe, Brown. From England's perspective, back in February, it felt like the dawn of a new era, didn't it? They'd scored big first innings runs. Their spinners were working. It looked too easy. We beat Sri Lanka 2-0. Didn't have to break sweat. But the signs were there early. The question is, Max, who was England's second top run scorer over the 2 matches a shade under 300 runs behind Joe Root after the first 2 tests.
I mean,
of the year.
it's a total lottery, isn't it? It could be literally any of them. I'm going to go for Dan Lawrence.
It was not Dan Lawrence. It was not Dan Lawrence. Ross, your chance to steal and take a 4-3 lead.
Dom Sibley, Dom Best. Is it Dom Sibley?
It was not Dominic Sibley. It was not Dominic Sibley. It was old Johnny Bairstow with 139 runs.
Wow.
I think Root scored 125. And they kept basically the same ratio between best and second best the rest of the year, haven't they? It's it's remarkable. It's remarkable what they've been able to accomplish. Away from the big 3 for a moment, Ross.
Okay, you have to repeat that. My internet's just fallen out. Sorry.
Away from the big 3 for a moment, Ross.
Yep.
Kyle Mayers, the West Indian, made waves in his debut. What was it that he did that made waves?
It was a 4th innings rearguard action to save a test match.
I don't know if I can give him that.
Didn't they win the test match?
Yeah, what did he do that was so interesting, Max?
He scored loads of runs.
You know what? I'm giving no points to either of you there. I think you fluffed that.
You're on the right line. No, he shepherded whoever was number 11 for ages, didn't he, or something?
No, he didn't. He scored a double ton. He was the 6th player ever to score a double ton.
Yeah, loads of runs.
Debut.
Like I said, loads of runs.
Yeah, not quite what I was looking for.
Not specific enough.
West Indies chased 395 away in Bangladesh to claim a 1-0 series. Oh, no, 2-0 series win. Raheem Cornwall, the big man, took a 9-for in the other match.
Not good enough.
A pretty good result for the West Indies. And there's a bonus point here. And whoever shouts this out first wins the point. Which other player scored a double century on their debut in 2021?
Devon Conway.
You got it.
Right, done, Max.
He got it. It's 4-3 to Max. And we move on. Who's team blue? Max. Oh, this is to go 5-3 up. Ross, you're under pressure. Your championship belt is on the line. And he pours himself another Thatcher's to cool the nerves. England continued their jam-packed year with a trip to India for some beach cricket. Joe Root took 5 for 8 in one match. Aksha took 30 for 8 across all of the matches. The question is, though, did England score more runs across their 8 white ball innings or their 8 red ball innings, Max?
I think it's going to be their... it's got to be the red ball, isn't it?
Right. So here's the thing.
It's the same.
I've written down red ball, but I think when I did the maths, I wrote white. It worked out as white ball.
You've got one job.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to do the counting again. I can only give you that. I can only go with what I've written on the screen. So that makes it 5-3, even though I think that might be wrong.
Can I do the old? Can I do the review?
We'll be here for ages. You have to add up all the numbers. I think it might have been white ball, but we've got red ball. They weren't very good either way. The 500 they scored in the first match did make a difference.
Yeah, I think that would have swayed me. I would have said red ball purely based on the 500.
But then England did score 350 twice in the. Or 325, 350 twice in the. Anyway, red ball, which I think is wrong. Point goes to Max. It's 5-3.
Pressure.
We're going to have a head-to-head challenge now, and then maybe we'll take a drinks break. Seems like we maybe need a drinks break. We've done about half an hour of this. We also do 40 minutes waiting for my Bluetooth headphones to connect to my laptop, but that's some behind-the-scenes information you don't need to know. First head-to-head challenge. We'll do one before drinks and one after drinks. And this is inspired by our Twitter followers, many of whom told us this was their moment of the year. In the third test of the series, old Johnny Bairstow tried to hit Aksha Patel into orbit, first ball of his innings, immediately coming in immediately after Zach Crawley had been dismissed by the great Akshar Patel. He was hit on the pad. He was given out LBW. He reviewed. He was reprieved. The next ball, he was bowled. A moment like that needs to be celebrated, and our listeners were right to highlight this as a fantastic moment in the calendar year of cricket. So I've asked you both to prepare a poem in its honour. Best poem gets the point. Who would like to go first? Flip
a coin. I don't have a coin.
Max,
so
you can go first. Max, you
I'll
can
go
go
first. Okay. There once was a man from Yorkshire who'd just been got out LBW. He came back from the dead when Hawkeye weren't red and proceeded to get out straight after.
Little round of applause there, Max. That was very good. I enjoyed that. You did it a good service. Ross, your call.
Johnny Bairstow at number 3. New technique ready for all to see. Akshar's arm balls primed and ready. Each England fan clutching their teddy. Premeditated sweep shot doth Bairstow's brain shout. Shock horror, lads, he's been given out. Review, Johnny does plea. I told you it was going over, see? Akshar reloads whilst Kohli retracts his fist pumps. Oh, for fuck's sake, the next ball's gone straight into the stumps.
I have to say, Max, and I think you'll agree with me there, that Ross he's smashed that out of the park. He's hit that further than Johnny Bairstow wanted to hit the sweep shot.
Yeah, wonderful. Very good.
2 points. It's 5-all.
But I mean, we also got a point each for the summary, so I think it'd probably point each for the poem would be.
No, I'm the quiz master. It's 5-all going into drinks.
Very good.
Just looking through other people on Twitter. GB, Prash, Amit Dubey. Thanks for getting in touch. A lot of people saying the Gabba was their favourite moment of the year. G saying Warwickshire winning the county championship was an undeniable highlight, which is good for him, but maybe doesn't have the wider appeal of the Gabba. Don Topley, probably my favourite. Hale struck twice in the gonads, 2 successive balls in the 100. That definitely was brilliant.
That was good. Good moment.
And friend of the podcast, Daniel Norcross, he liked England winning a test in India. Surely there was nothing weirder than that all year, he adds. So we will take a break now and be back.
Max, haven't you prepared some Christmas songs for us? We should play those in the break, right? What have you got up first?
Yes. Well reminded, Ross. I didn't forget about that at all. But yes, I have done that. So why don't we go with the reimagined version of Feliz Navidad first? How's that?
That sounds great.
Oh, Max, that was wonderful. I don't know about you, Ross, but I feel full of festive cricket quiz cheer.
Yeah, your Christmas tree is a little bit lighter in the background because of
it's gone into overdrive.
Yeah, this is one for the YouTube people.
Oh, hello.
Have you seen my Harry Potter glasses before, fellas? This is terrible podcasting, but if you head over YouTube.
Yeah,
we're on the road to 10K.
This is a visual show.
We're on the road to 10K subscribers on YouTube. Head over there, subscribe, create 2 accounts and subscribe on both of them. And then later, YouTube will remove one of those accounts as a subscriber. The road to 10K.
In the video editing version, I am going to draw a little lightning on your forehead, I think, Jack.
What will it be able? Will it stay there when I move around?
No, I'll do it very briefly.
But yeah, you don't know what we're talking about on audio. Be a cross-format player. Get onto YouTube. The Cricket Podcast. Just search that.
I can't now not.
Or it's
see
in the
Daniel
show notes.
Radcliffe.
That is stunning. That is stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
That's good, isn't it? I'll keep it on for this segment.
Good prop.
Although
It's a
it
good
does, it's got a bit glare, so it's actually quite hard to read the quiz at this point.
You didn't get the anti-glare coating on those then?
I didn't. World Test Championship final time, boys. This is a really quick one. New Zealand picked up a first ICC trophy as they surged to victory on a crackerjack final day. Kyle Jamieson is basically India's kryptonite, I'd say at this point. Rishabh Pant was a very naughty boy, etc., etc. The challenge, though, very quickly, off the top of your heads, what rule would you change to improve the tournament in the future? Ross?
I would. What rule would you change, or just the structure?
Well, rule.
Well, get rid of the LBW rule. What do you mean?
Do that if you want. If that's what you want to do. Ross is getting rid of LBW. Max.
Open goal. I would make it a 3 or 5 test series. That's what I do. And you do it in different locations around the world. So you have to play in different conditions. It's not very eco-friendly, my idea.
No, it's not. Max.
It's not very eco-friendly, but it would make for a good final, wouldn't it? I would say that I would just make it so that the series all have to be like the same length, so that the point system actually makes sense rather than just like some weird average of wins in a 2-match test series.
So I wanted someone to say semi-finals, so neither of you get a point there. Unlucky.
Okay. All right.
It stays 5-all going into the lunchtime session.
Nice.
Lunchtime session, the afternoon session.
What's that, like 80 for 2?
Yeah,
Both sides still in it?
I don't know. I'd say 100 for 3.
Right. Bit more in it, bit exciting. Bit more.
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, there's been lots of action, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Apart from the bit where I made everyone do the same thing twice. That was my mistake. But,
Do you reckon you could take your glasses off now? It's a bit unnerving.
No, you got to live with this for a few minutes. I don't actually wear these. Are lensless glasses. These are just pieces of glass in frames. Imagine if I did have glasses and this is what I chose. Anyway, rubbish podcasting. Ross, you're red.
Yep.
Whilst the World Test Championship final was taking place, 2 teams played a series that actually counted towards final standings in the tournament that the final was being played to decide. That's the ICC, baby. Who were the 2 teams playing a series at the same time, literally the same time, the same days as the final? His head is in his hands. He's raising an eyebrow and he's mumbling to himself. Now he's looking into the distance.
Right.
He needs to give an answer.
I genuinely have no idea. Would it be Sri Lanka versus the West Indies?
Ooh, it is not. Max, do you know the answer?
That's what I was going to go for. Okay. South Africa, Pakistan.
Oh, you got both teams, but West Indies and South Africa were the 2 I was looking for. So well played. That was good quizzing, but nobody gets a point. And we go over to Max for some women's cricket. England took on and eventually beat India in their multi-format series. That kicked off with a test match that ended in a nail-biting draw. # make women's cricket 5 days. But which Indian batter top scored for the match? See, this is one that you'll definitely know, but you'll have forgotten the name.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the Shafali Verma.
He's pulled it out of the bag. He said it like he didn't know the answer, but he did know the answer. He takes a 6-5 lead, going into probably about the halfway point. Ross, in L100 Aero, as you said in your summary, the women's game captured the imagination. I said imagination like that. The imagination.
Imagination.
Which wife and wife duo helped the Oval Invincibles to glory at Lords?
Danny Van Niekerk and Mariana Kapp. Is that her name?
I'll give you that.
Close enough.
Marizani, but yeah,
Marizani,
very
yeah.
good. They were, of course, in action again in the Big Bash, where they played against each other in the final. Did you see this? Cap and the Scorchers beat out Van Niekerk and the Strikers. Cap getting 30 odd and a wicket in the final game.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty good going for them. I mean, obviously it's better for Cap because she won 2 tournaments and Niekerk only won 1. But Van Niekerk was the captain in another one. So it's sort of like winning 2, isn't it, when you're the captain, I imagine.
They can both go home happy.
They can both go home happy. And I'm sure they did. Ross, we're going back to the men's game. And England. I have my England shirt here, actually. I'll get that on.
That's 2 questions in a row for Ross, is it?
Okay, we'll go to Max then. In the men's game, England, and I'll put my England shirt on in a minute. They kicked off their summer against Sri Lanka and Pakistan in white ball cricket. After absolutely steamrolling the Sri Lankans, England had to swap up their entire side to play Pakistan after a COVID scare. They won 3-0, but were saved in the final match by a James Vince century. His first in ODI cricket, his first in international cricket. Well played, James Vince. My question is, though, who's at the other end for the partnership of 129 that got England back into the game?
Oh, what?
What was the question about?
Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh?
Ross, the question was, James Vince got a century. My question is, who was at the other end for their partnership of 129 that got England back into the game?
Yeah, I know this. Pressure's on Max. I've got this in the bag.
Have you? Good. I'm trying to think who played.
Watching him put a shirt on. Failing to put a shirt on.
Oh dear. It was the wicket keeper.
No, you've had enough time. Ross, who was it?
Lewis Gregory.
It was Lewis Gregory. Look at that, 7-6 to Ross. The tables have been turned. He comes back with that poem. He was 2 points down. Now he's a point up. That's what can happen in a Christmas cricket quiz. And we're back. My internet broke down. My laptop's broken down today. Ross has run out of cider. Nothing's gone wrong for Max. Max has recovered from COVID, so it's going well. We're back at the Christmas quiz. As I was saying, it's a thing. It goes up and down.
Roller coaster.
Like a seesaw.
Who knows what can happen? Can't it?
Red team. Joe Roots, Jingle Bells. Max Rowe, Brown.
Blue team.
I'm the blue team. Ross is the red team.
Snowman. In the interest of time, I now have the task of condensing the whole of England's Test summer down into 4 questions. First of all, England lost the New Zealand series 1-0 after a tame draw, where England refused to chase at Lord's. Where were they humiliated to seal their defeat?
Edgbaston, because I was there.
Bang! It's 7-5 to Ross. That's the second time, Ross, that the fortress has been breached in 2 tests. Are you going again this summer to watch the hat trick?
Not at the moment. I was going to, I think, to see South Africa play, but now they've moved to the India one. So maybe I'm seeing them. I don't know if it's moved. I'm guessing it's moved to the same venue.
Right.
So yes, I'll be there to see India beat in England. That's what I'll be there to see.
3-1 India, yeah. And when I said 4 questions, what I meant was 2 questions, Max, because I really did condense the whole of the England Test summer down into nothing, apparently.
It's probably for the best, to be honest.
Yeah. The India-England series was a doozy. It went one way, then the other. Ollie Robinson was good. Rohit Sharma was great. KL Rahul was pretty tasty, and Joe Root was better than everyone else combined from an England point of view. And maybe from an India point of view. He was the best. Let's just say that. He was the best. The question is, though, who won Player of the Season series?
Who won Player of the Series? It's a good question, isn't it? Good question. I think I'm going to go with Rohit Sharma.
Ross, it has been passed to you,
not
because that was
Rohit Sharma.
incorrect.
And you said it wasn't Joe Root.
It could have been Joe Root. It could have been anyone. It wasn't Rohit Sharma.
What? Was it not Rohit? I'm going to say it was Jasprit Bumrah.
The answer is
Jimmy Anderson.
That it was a trick question, because
there's
there's
one
more match of the series to be played. So how can you give out man of the series?
Bastard.
Ross,
Yeah.
Ross is 7-5 up, but Max, I think this one might play slightly more into your wheelhouse because it's time to talk about some domestic cricket. And we're starting in England, the home of cricket trademark. Can you name the winners of the 4 major men's trophies? Now, the way this is going to work is that you get to nominate which winner, which tournament, and which winner you're gonna go for. And if you're correct, you get the point. You bag the point, and then it goes to the next person. So it's like 4 questions in one question. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
You get to go first.
I do.
Yeah.
Warwickshire.
In what?
County
The
champ.
instructions couldn't have been simpler.
The county champ.
You said you understood, and then immediately you don't do the format.
Warwickshire won the county championship.
They did win the county championship. I'll give you a point for that, but I'm warning you.
Okay.
Next time, I want to hear the tournament first.
All right.
Roscoe.
T20 Blast, Kent Spitfires.
Oh, 1 point each. It is 8-6. Max.
So,
don't be afraid to talk people through this.
Yeah.
I am trying to remember who won the 100.
You should have listened to my match summary, mate.
I should listen to your summary. Now, we all thought it was going to be Trent Rockets, man, and it wasn't. It was, in fact, Southern Brave.
That's another point to Max. It's 8-7. And Ross, can you finish off with the winner of the 50-over competition? The LDV Vans Trophy of Cricket.
I want to say that Durham were there, but I think they lost. Is it Gloucestershire or is it Glamorgan? I'm going to say it was Glamorgan.
Well done, boys. You know your domestic cricket. That's 2 points each, 9-7. I thought that might trip one of you up, but it didn't. You cruised through. Ross, Team Red Snowman.
We're doing good here, Snowman. We're doing all right.
Over in the IPL, we traditionally start with a question about who finished bottom to check whether everyone was paying attention. Sunrisers ruined that a bit this year. So
It was so bad.
So I'm going with another classic. Which player hit the most sixes? 30 in total, 7 more than second place.
30. That is. Who's played the most? Gale had a terrible one. Pollard didn't really bat that much. Hardick was injured.
Tell you what.
I tell you what. You've done this to trick me. I reckon it's Ball Eater. I reckon it's KL Rahul.
It is King Legend.
He's got it. He's fucking got it. Oh, I was licking my lips.
The final of the IPL saw 2 specialist captains go head-to-head, Max, for the trophy. Owen Morgan and MS Dhoni seemed determined throughout the tournament to be as ineffectual with the bat as possible. Which of them managed to score the most runs through the tournament?
That is an absolutely brilliant question, by the way.
That is good. Oh my god. I think it's Dhoni.
Oh, it's a bad miss.
Oh.
It's a bad miss. It was 10-7 to Ross. He has the chance to steal. Ross, do you think it was?
Fuck you. Absolutely not.
Owen Morgan, by any chance?
It was Owen Morgan. Yeah, 133 runs to 107.
That is absolutely tragic. They both played all games.
That is so bad. Yeah. Well, there goes the ukulele.
Max, we'll do this one, then we'll have another break for a Christmas Carol. How about that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
I've got one that's perfect for you.
The final IPL question. I want you, in the same way as we just did with the winners.
No, it's the head-to-head thing.
It's a group question. In the same way as we just did with the winners of the different trophies in English cricket, I want you to tell us, each by each, term by term, one by one, top 4 wicket takers in the IPL this year. Doesn't have to be in any order. I've got them all four down here. They are 4 Indian players. I'll give you that as a little tip. Max, you get to pick first.
Well, there's only one man you can start with, isn't it? The runaway winner of the purple cap, Harshal Patel.
It was a pretty good year for Harshal Patel. 32 wickets in 56 overs, average of 14.34, economy of 8.14, 1 4 for 1 5 strike rate of 10.5. I don't think he even played all 16 matches. Well, he didn't play 16 matches. He didn't make the final, did he? So obviously he didn't. Decent year. Ross, your turn.
So what I need to know. So Max has done number 1. So do I have to
It
state
could be any of the top 4. It could be any of the top 4.
Jasprit Bumrah.
Jasprit Bumrah was number 3. He picked up 21 wickets, average of 19.5, economy of 7.45. Pretty good year for him, but they did not make the playoffs, so he didn't have a run at second place. And we go back to Maximus.
Avesh Khan.
Avesh Khan is number 3. Does he have notes, or does he just know lots about the IPL? It is correct. And we go back to Ross.
I'm going to go for the Lord Thakur.
He's got it. That is incredible.
Really?
That's an
Is that true?
incredible performance.
Is it really? No.
I thought it was Deepak Chahar. I was like, nah, it's someone else. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I was
the
going to
Lord.
go. I was going to go Chahar. That's mad.
Lord Shardul picked up 21 wickets,
Great
tying
work.
for second place with Bumrah with a couple more games played.
Max, I was
Economy-
impressed you got Avesh Khan, I must admit.
Economy of 8.8, which is a little on the high side.
Yeah, not in Chris Jordan's books, it's not.
But 21 wickets is still pretty damn good for the Lords. So that's 2 points each, which I think keeps the score at like a 3-point difference, 12-9 to Ross.
Yeah.
Max, what's our next Christmas carol?
Jack, this actually I think was requested to us at the end of an IPL live stream. Someone wanted us to do an ode to Mahendra Singh Dhoni to the tune of When I'm 64. And who am I? I know it's not a Christmas song, but who am I to deny team valued listener what they've requested? So without further ado, I will play you When I'm 64. When I get older, losing my hair, not too far from now, will I still be able to close out the game, lead my team to glory and fame? 5 wickets down, need 18 of 3. Would you look to one? Well, if you still need me, then shall I'll need you when I'm 64. I'd lead India too. And if you say the word, I could mentor you. I can score 6s, I can score 4s when the game looks gone. Try to keep the buys down as my back gives way. Use my bowlers in the right way, leading the chase and taking it deep. Set a good platform. Well, if you still need me, then shall I lead you when I'm 64?
That was brilliant, Max.
Well done, Max. That's another banger to add to the collection. There must be 9 or 10 songs you've got.
Yeah,
in total
I
now.
think it's 3 a year. So well, there's going to be 9.
Do you remember that?
That's an album.
Yeah, it is. Do you remember that band that did release an album of cricket
I
themed
thought you were going to say,
songs?
do you remember that band who did When I'm 64, the Beatles? Yes, no,
No.
the Duckworth-Lewis method.
Yeah, they did. You could be the new Duckworth-Lewis method.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I'm not sure his Gary Balance song will hold up much longer.
No, that one's
the
out.
Gary-
That one's
Gary
off.
Balance
That
song,
one's off explicit. But yeah.
Uh,
Why not? Maybe we could get Neil Hannon on, see if he wants to join us.
Don't know who that is.
He's one of the guys in the Duckworth Lewis.
Oh, okay. That makes sense now. Makes sense. Are we ready to go back to the quiz?
Let's do it. I've got some catching up to do.
What scores in the because we've got people obviously playing along at home. We
12-9.
obviously want to know in the comments of how you're doing. We're obviously going to be a bit delayed, so it's fine. But just tell us which ones were your favourite questions and how you were getting on.
Yeah. We've made it to the World Cup, which means it's time to talk about Australians. The head of cricket in Pakistan described his decision to recruit Matt Hayden and Big Vern Philander as coaches because one was an Australian and the other one was good against Australians. Who said this and how many times did they mention Australians or Australia in the announcement, Ross?
Ramesh Raja.
Okay, that's correct.
How many times did you mention it in that then? I'm going to go for 7 times.
Okay, you've overshot the mark a little bit there, which means it passes to Max the chance to steal the point, a much needed point, or it could be back-to-back humiliating defeats for the red-nosed one.
I had in my head 5.
You're closer, so I'm going to give you the point. It's 12-10. The quote was from Ramesh Raja. Matthew Hayden is Australian, that's one, and has experience of winning World Cups and was a great player himself. It might be very beneficial to have an Australian, that's 2, occupying the dressing room. And Pakistan, of course, can win the World Cup. They just need to improve their performances an extra 10%. Vernon Philander, I know very well, and he understands bowling and has a great record against Australia. So that's 3. Well done, Max. You're very close there. Only 66% more Australians in your guess than in the real quote. As you know, as it turned out, he could have done with another Australian or 2, I think, in the.
Well, I got them all the way.
Because what happened? Australia turned up. Matt Wade, 3 scoops and flicks.
Matt Wade.
And it's all over. Ross, your question.
That's Max's question.
Blue team, Max, your question to make
even though I think I should have got half a point for the last one because I got Ramesh Raja.
No, that's not how it works. Do you know why I keep getting this wrong? Because when we do interviews, you're the blue in blue, so I'm conditioned because of the 5 interviews we've done. Max, we saw many associate nations at the World Cup, which was nice, and I think it's fair to say that one of them won kit of the tournament, Papua New Guinea. They may not have scored any points on the pitch, but they made sure they left a mark on things with their orange and black kit. Can you tell me what 2 of the 3 silhouettes featured on their shirt were?
There was some sort of animal. A palm tree.
Palm tree is one.
There was a palm tree.
There's palm tree is one.
But there's a kind of a cat in there, some sort of jungle cat thing. No,
jungle cat.
Yeah.
No.
It's a palm tree, and
I mean, how many guesses do you want to have here? I know you're losing,
and I'm getting mixed up with a man and the fire. So I'm just gonna say fire again. Palm tree and fire.
Ross, silhouettes on the Papua New Guinea shirt.
It was one of the tribal. Was it part of the?
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's one. You've got to get the other one though, because palm tree's already gone. We got pattern, by the way. I think your internet dropped for a second there. Pattern is correct. It's probably deeper than pattern. But
it's a tribal pattern, so
yeah. Okay. Palm trees off the table, so you've got to get one more thing here to complete the steal. Make it 13-10.
Tribals there. Like mountains or like volcanoes, kind of rocks.
Mountains.
Kind of thing.
He's got it. 13-10 to Ross.
Nice.
He's sailing towards a convincing win here.
Home.
But there's still 2 more questions left. Unfortunately, because of the aforementioned bad maths, Ross has one of them, and then the final one is a shared question.
Oh, I'm in trouble. So I didn't have time to revise because I was making all these songs.
What do you want? A point for the songs?
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
13-11. 13-11. Pressure's on now, Ross. Australia ran out winners at the end of the World Cup. You might be asking, how did that happen? But in truth, it wasn't too difficult to feel happy for the likes of Marcus Stoinis and Glenn Maxwell and Mitch Marsh and Adam Zampa. I thought it was very good, to be honest. I thought they looked like they had fun. They played cricket and they enjoyed playing cricket. And I don't think they could believe it. And that's what sport's about, isn't it? It's miracles. Dreams do come true. It's unscripted, so we never know what's going to happen next. Away from that, though, Ajaz Patel became the 10th bowler or the third bowler in history to claim a tenfer. Who are the other two?
Anil Kumble.
Oh, that's one.
Oh, it's some bloke from ages ago.
That's true. He's narrowed it down. He's narrowed it down to ages ago.
Yeah, the only person that's sticking in my head is Fred Truman.
It's not Fred Truman. Not necessarily the wrong era, but it's not Fred Truman. Max, can you complete the steal and make it 13-12?
Is it John Embury?
Fucking hell, lads. That is poor. That is a poor performance. There's one player. If I said to you there's one player in history who's taken 19 wickets in a test, do you know who that is?
Sobers?
Max, do you know who that is?
Well, obviously not, because I didn't know the answer to this question.
Well, Jim Laker.
Jim Laker.
Oh,
In the Ashes, Old Trafford, took 19 wickets. And you, as two stout Englishmen, didn't
Jim
know
Laker.
that.
Jim
I mean, that's
sorry, even have a lock and Laker stand. I mean, that's
19 wickets in a test. It's like scoring 800 runs in a test.
That's the beer that's done that one. That's my excuse. Shocking.
Right, it's almost time to wrap up. We could do some stuff on the Ashes, but I decided to leave that out because we're doing daily shows, and the way it's going, we don't want to use our already very stretched material on the Christmas show when we need.
It'd be amazing if people are still with us now. From Bermudas.
Yeah.
How quickly did England collapse in the second test?
Yeah, there is one thing left to play for though, and it is sort of Ashes related. Yesterday, the ICC released their updated batting rankings, and Marnus Labuschagne, who's managed to play a whopping 4 tests this year, has gone to the top of the table above Joe Root, who has scored centuries in India, Sri Lanka, England, and 80 and a 50 in Australia. It doesn't make sense. There's at least 2 or 3 more impressive players over the last 12, 24 months than Marnus, I think. So we're going to play a game of Tenable relating to that. Max, you were on the actual game show Tenable once. Can you explain the rules to us? And actually, just for the purposes of this podcast, we're going to call it 11able to avoid any potential legal repercussions now that we're not a complete backwater podcast and people actually do listen to us. So what are the rules of 11able, which is similar to the game show, but not the game show, crucially not the game show that you appeared on Tenable?
Well, Jack, 11able, the way 11able works is that there is a question. You've told us what the question is, to which there are 11 answers, which would be the top 11, I assume, people in the rankings.
Yep.
And the idea is that you have to name the 11 people. So
yes,
I assume we're taking it in turns to do that.
That's correct. You have one life between you, and however many you get at the end, I'll give points for, and I'll sort of make that up. So Ross, you need to win, otherwise you'll lose. The game will be name the top 11 current men's top test batters. Max as the man who is behind.
Are we including the aforementioned 2?
Who are the aforementioned 2?
Well, Labuschagne and Root.
Okay, well, you've got 2 straight off the bat, so there are only 9 more to go. Ross, over to you. You can only name, it's supposed to name 1 at a time now, not just as many as you can.
Steve Smith.
Yes, Steve Smith is on the list. Max Rowe Brown, over to you.
Is it so? Just quick point of question. So is this
Quite a lot of names you could go for?
Yeah, but does it take into account like performances before this year, or is it just this year's?
Nobody knows what it takes into account.
Nobody knows. Right. Okay,
The ICC top 10.
Yeah, Kane Williamson.
Kane Williamson, number 4. So you've got the top 4 so far. Ross, over to you.
Virat Kohli is going to be in there.
He is number 7. So 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and 11 yet to be selected. Max Rowe Brown. Max Rowe Brown.
Hello. Yes. Should talk people through. I'm wondering. Babar Azam.
Babar Azam is number 9. So we currently have 5, 6, 8, 10, and 11 unselected in this game of 11able, which is crucially, and I want to be very clear about this, not related to the game 10able that Max was on and lost. Would have been a rich man, but
sadly, these things happen.
Roscoe, going to need an answer from you. And Team Snowman.
For Rohit Sharma.
Rohit Sharma is number 5, the second top run scorer in the ICC calendar year, behind Joe Root. Just the 5th best player in the world, though. What's he done that's impressive?
In all conditions, but the worst conditions as well. He runs in England and sandpits, very well done.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Some of those ranking points counted towards the beach cricket standings, so they don't.
Yeah, he just couldn't. He couldn't deal with the bounce in Australia. Oh wait, no, he hits. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Max,
so how many have we got left? What's left?
So we have Marnus, we've got Root, we've got Smith, we've got Williamson, we've got Sharma. We do not have 6. We have Virat Kohli. We do not have 8. We have Babar Azam at 9, and we don't have 10, and we don't have 11.
Okay, I'm going to take a slight punt, and based on the fact that he actually scored loads of runs in the World Test Championship, I'm going to go with Rahane.
That's denied. That may be the worst guess of all time.
Really?
I'd say. Yeah.
He's got.
I mean, he could be. To be honest, Max, he could be 12th, but he's not 11th.
He scored the second most runs in the World Test Championship.
ICC don't care, mate.
No.
ICC do not care.
That's their tournament. That's literally their tournament.
That is your combined life gone.
Oh, all right, combined life. Well, that's good.
So it goes back to Ross.
So all I. Karuna Ratner.
Oh, he's pulled that one out of the bag. I thought that would definitely get one of you.
Nice.
Karuna Ratner is number 8. So that means we don't have 6, we don't have 10, and we don't have 11. Only 3 more to go. This has been a good showing. It's not as good as last year's top IPL wicket takers, where you got everyone apart from Chakravarti. That was a truly special performance. This at the moment isn't up to those heights, but we can get it there, Max, if you don't fuck up here.
David Warner.
David Warner, number 6. 2 test matches this year, David Warner. But he did score 300 on a flat deck against Pakistan 24 months ago. So definitely the 6th best player in the world. And he's going to, let's face it, he scored 290s against England. He is playing pretty well. So let's just recap. We have Labuschagne, we have Root, we have Smith, we have Williamson, we have Sharma, we have Warner, we have Kohli, we have Karuna Ratner, we have Azam. I was pulled up on this. We're saying Babar Azam. Azam.
Okay.
Babar Azam. Yeah. 10 and 11. I will give you one clue if you want it, boys.
Well, what is this? So if I get this wrong, there's game over, and so I win the quiz.
No, you lose because Max is still alive.
But he. Oh, so we got 1 line for 2.
It doesn't work like that, does it? I make the rules around here.
Right. Who's played a lot of Test cricket this year?
That's definitely not the. I was going to say now, that's not the line of thought that you should be going down.
Is it the ICC rankings? Is it more based on like recency bias? Is it kind of like IPL mega auctions kind of thing? Is it who's hit most runs recently, all that kind of stuff?
I'm going to be honest with you, Ross. I've got no idea. I think it's basically something they just sort of make up.
If a clue's available, I'll have a clue because 10 and 11 in these ICC rankings isn't
anyone.
Both teams were involved in Sandpaper Gate.
It can't be fact. Quinton de Kock.
Quinton de Kock is number 11.
Oh, no.
He's pulled that one out with a pretty big clue, but he has pulled it out the bag. And Max Roy Brown, number 10, a new entrant into the top 10 in the last couple of weeks.
Into the top 10.
I think it's only fair that Max gets a clue.
Well, he's got a clue, hasn't he? He knows that they were involved in Sandpaper Gate. The nation was involved in Sandpaper Gate. He knows they're a new entrant into the top 10. Can he get this to complete a miraculous and 11able?
Are they? Is it a different
Marcus Harris?
Is it a different country to the first country that was mentioned? Then
I'm not giving you that, Max.
Not giving you that. But you did say both countries were involved, so I suspect that means it's.
Look, we've got a regular Sherlock in the house.
Right, so an Australian that can bat. We've had Warner. It can't be Marcus Harris. We've had Labuschagne. We've had Smith. What? You mean there's more that score runs? I'm
Tim Payne, isn't it, Max? Surely Tim Payne.
It can't be Tim Payne. Surely can't be Tim Payne.
I reckon I've got a pretty good guess at who
I think you're going to have to give me an answer, Max.
Yeah,
Usman Khawaja.
Oh, God. That is a clanger. That is a clanger. That is an absolute. He said Tim Payne as well.
I just can't bring myself. I can't bring myself to say Tim Payne.
It's not Tim Payne.
No,
it's not Tim Payne. It's not Khawaja. Khawaja. I don't think he's played a test since 2019.
So do I get to guess to win it?
Ross, I think you've already won after that debacle. Take us home, 11able. Who it completes the top 10 ICC batters in the world in Test cricket?
Max, I'm purely going on this because I reckon Jack would have loved to do it because you said he was completely unforgettable. Is it Travis Head?
It is Travis Head. Yeah. Why is he the 10th best batter in the world? We don't really know, but he is. Travis Head is the 10th best batter in the world, third fastest Ashes 100, 10th best batter in the world.
How is that even calculated?
Mate, I don't know. This is
So out of all of that, there's only one New Zealand, and there's only one Kiwi in the top 10, and they won the World Test Championship.
Yeah, Kane Williamson.
There's Virat Kohli, who's not at a century for 2 years. Fucking hell. I mean, even like someone like Tom Latham.
Yeah, Tom Latham. Dean Elgar should be bloody in there.
Latham is 13. Mayank
Agarwal played loads of cricket this year. Like Mohammad Rizwan should have been.
Yeah,
in as well,
Rizwan. Yeah,
Rizwan's nowhere near. Mayank Agarwal is 12. Rishabh Pant is 14. Henry Nichols is 15. Dean Elgar 16. Pujara 17. Rizwan 18.
Pujara. Man.
Markram 19. Fawad Lam 20.
They're off their nut. This lot are literally off their nut.
There we go.
Absolute madness.
There
unlucky,
we
mate.
go.
Good,
Ross, you are the champion of the cricket quiz for the second year in a row. Any final words before we wrap up?
No, you should follow us at the Cricket Pod on Twitter and Instagram. If you like this, tell us what your score was. Tell us what you love. If you like Max's Max's jingles, then we'll upload them to our Patreon. I think
another shocking performance.
Thank you very much for listening, and subscribe to this video and rate us 5-star on Spotify, which is now a thing.
Patreon.com/the Cricket Pod. Max, let's have one last carol from you.
Indeed.
A loser's ballad.
A loser's ballad. Well, what could be more appropriate for a loser's ballad than our hopes for where this Ashes series is heading?
To end the show. Goodbye, everyone. Merry Christmas.
That is why I pray for a lot of rain. Can you stop the whitewash, please? Poor old Joffre sits at home, resting up his sore elbow. Wish he could be bowling now over 90 miles an hour. Hope you win a test this Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.